Hey everybody, Hunter Fisher, Trapper, Trader, Guide, Scout, and Interpreter, and just a country cook, Steve Hall here in Nashville, Tennessee, along with pretty Miss Sheila that runs the camera, but she's over here because we wanted to pin this girl in the middle and make her give us the recipe for pierogies. I'm going to get to that in a second, but I want to introduce her. I met her years ago. Her and her husband Jerry were playing in a club up north. Years later, they both ended up working with us on the General Jackson showboat. Get this, for 5,000 shows over 12 years. Our special guest today is one of the greatest singers, guitar players, entertainers, songwriter, and a great friend, Cheryl Lynn from Crivets, Wisconsin.
Wow, thanks Steve for having me.
It's great to have you here, and she makes her home in Nashville, Tennessee now. And tell us, before we go any further, what is a pierogi?
A pierogi, it's a noodle-based dough.
It's got
Noodle-based dough with...
so we're going to make dough. Then we're going to roll it out.
Yep.
And we're going to cut it in circles.
Yes.
And what do we put inside there?
Mashed potatoes with cheese and some other yummy stuff.
Now, you were telling me on the phone that you got several pierogi recipes at home, right?
Yes, I do.
Now, Sheila, have you ever had a pierogi?
Never.
And the reason I have her here is I got to tell you, years ago I was playing up, when I first discovered these things, I was up in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, at a place called The Pump. And part of our pay was we got rooms, meals, and pay. And they had a buffet that we ate at. And I go along, and here's these little dough-filled, half-moon-shaped little things, and they were absolutely delicious. And I said, what are they? And they said, they're pierogies. Well, you know more about it than anything, because if you want to get a Polish pierogi, you need a Przinski from up north. And she's got a whole lot of Przinskis watching her right now. So tell us a little bit about the dough that we need to make. We need to start out with what, 3 cups of flour?
3 cups of flour.
All right. Sheila bought me this mixer here. Let me see if I can get the lever the right way. We'll dump this in there. Now, what do I need next?
Okay, we're going to, we already have the egg whisk.
Yeah.
You can put the egg.
Should we stir our salt first?
Salt, yes.
We need a teaspoon.
About a teaspoon.
All right, about a teaspoon of salt. And let me start working this first. And then we're going to just put this on stir only for the whole dough making process on this mixer. Sheila got me this KitchenAid as a gift for our kitchen here.
Yeah, and we want to make sure, Steve, that we don't overdo the dough so it doesn't get tough.
Okay, right.
So, yeah, just a slow step.
This thing here, I found out a real neat process for this. And what we're going to do is put in the egg next then, or water.
We can do egg.
Okay.
Egg next.
Okay, I'm helping out with the dough, and then they're going to do the rest over there in a minute.
And that's 1 egg.
1 egg beaten. We beat it up pretty good. Now you're going to put butter in here, right?
Yeah, we're going to add that as well.
Her recipe requires 1/3 of a cup of melted butter, and then we let it come back to room temperature. It's looking pretty good in there. Okay. And then we go with our, here Sheila, if you want to help us with all our little cups and stuff.
Okay, and then we'll just add the water slowly.
Little at a time, don't you?
When it starts coming to a ball, that's when we've probably got enough, and then we'll take it out.
You know, we made some fry bread, which is a northern thing from the res up there. We made that the other day, and I really figured out this process with pouring the water in here a little at a time. Mm-hmm. And what we like to do, and we're right now, because we're doing a wide shot here, you can't see down in here, but what we do is we let it go until it kind of gets not really tacky, but we keep adding the water until it gets like moist. Then I take some little bits of flour and add to it, and boy, and it just grabs everything off the side. Then we'll only let it mix for about 3 minutes, and it's real soft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got it.
Yeah, I've studied a lot on this thing.
He loves it.
I love it.
That is a nice machine right there.
Yeah, I love this mixer. Now, where'd you get this thing, Sheila?
At Kohl's.
At Kohl's. You know, her and Kohl's, you know.
Yeah,
you know.
best friends, right?
You girls do that shopping stuff, so. Okay, now that's enough water, and I need the flour. Did I bring the flour in here?
Well,
There's a little dish. Oh, you took it back. We're going to pause for just a second and go get our flour. All right, we gathered our flour up from the kitchen because she was in there making something really good, and we'll show you that in just a second. Now, when it goes to that moist state, I just sprinkle in a little flour at a time, not very much, just some little pinches. and watch it gather everything up off the side. Ooh, now see how that's turned into a nice dough ball?
Oh yeah.
Now that'll need that just like you do it on the kitchen counter, but I hate pushing that flour stuff out. I'm not really good at it. So there we go. We're looking real good. I think we're just about perfect. I'll move that back over there. Let me see if I can clean my hands. Flour everywhere. All right, we're going to let this knead for about 3 minutes, and we'll be right back with you. Well, our dough is done, and Sheila went over there to get the camera to bring it up and give us a close-up shot. So Sheila, bring that over here and let's get a good close-up shot. All right, Cheryl, I did the hard work. Now I'll let you pull that dough off that hook and grab the rest of that out of there.
Put a little flour in my hands here so it
All right.
doesn't stick.
Let me get that dough hook out of your way, too. I can do that as well.
Yeah. I think we got
Perfect.
it. We got it.
Let me move this back out of the way here. Now tell us what we're going to do with this. We're going to let this rest, right?
Right, for maybe 10-15 minutes for
10 or 15 minutes. We'll put some cellophane on there and we'll let it set for about 15 minutes. We'll be right back with you. Awesome. Well, it's been 15 minutes and we got our dough ready to go on the board. And what do? Just throw a little stuff on there?
I'm
And
going to put a little on the board with flour.
Okay.
And, so it doesn't stick to the board. It's pretty good consistency right now, so we should be good. And then we're going to roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch.
All right. Now I got to tell you something. Sheila, tell us a little bit about this rolling pin.
Yes, my dad's, he used this to make his biscuits with every morning.
Yeah, her father was a great guy down there in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and he used to make biscuits for the church, right?
Right.
Every Sunday morning. I mean, pans and pans full of them, and take it down there. Let me get some of this stuff out of your way here, Cheryl. This is for later.
You might have to go square here, since the board is square.
All right.
Yeah, he would get up about 3 o'clock in the morning and make these biscuits, about like 7 or 8 big pans full, and then take them to church for
Wow.
Sunday breakfast.
I don't have a big surface for you there, so we might have to just go ahead and roll it off the edge and cut what we need out of the middle and put it back together and cut some more, you know?
Yeah.
Now what I did is I took one of those little deals that you fill fruit jars with, and I broke off the edge. Sheila, is it down on your end of the world, that red thing by your hand?
Yeah, it is.
That's going to be our little pierogi cutter. We made a custom pierogi cutter because I cut the little tab off of there because we couldn't find anything that was big enough. Cheryl Lynn says we're going to put some potatoes in there. We need plenty of room.
It's hard to tell. Some of it is so thick, but I think it looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good, don't it?
Okay.
All right, here's our little pierogi cutter. And we can just, lay those off to one side until we're ready to do the thing?
Yes.
You want to put them back in this bowl here?
That'll work.
We'll just lay them in this bowl until we're ready to do our...
Just a little bit.
All right. So you want to get them to about 1/8 of an inch thick. It looks like what you're trying to do there. I think that's going to work out perfect. Now, what all can you put in a pierogi other than potatoes? There's a lot of recipes up north, isn't there?
Yeah, I've seen where they've used cottage cheese,
Wow.
and they actually do like a sweet topping on it. They boil it like the potatoes, of course, the potato pierogi, and then they put, I think, maple syrup. Sometimes they use maple syrup over the top.
Golly, that
Cottage
sounds
cheese.
that sounds good.
Now, I've not had those, but sounds interesting.
That's something else, folks. When we're done cutting these, and then we're done making the ingredients to go inside, and you form them up, then you boil them. It's just a great Polish treat. I'll tell you what, you've got to make this recipe. And I thank you for coming over here and showing us how to do this, because I've always, since I was up there in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, and ate them for the first time, wanted pierogies. I actually bought them, because I lived in Brainerd, Minnesota for a while. I actually bought them in the grocery store because they make them and freeze them and sell them commercially. You can buy pierogies in a bag, you know, but they're not as good as these, I can guarantee you that.
It looks like something you could put butter and cinnamon and
That's
on.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, that sounds good. Yeah.
Sheila always goes that direction, you know what I'm saying?
Cinnamon, sugar, and butter. Cinnamon, sugar, and butter.
Can't
We made We made Indian fry bread the other day to dip in chili, and what's the first thing you said, Sheila?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Cinnamon, sugar, and butter.
Yeah, man, oh man. So I actually froze those. Now, when you make these, can you freeze them?
You can, yes, you can freeze them without cooking them first. And
Okay.
you can freeze them even if they are cooked. And then just, to warm them up, you just put them butter in a pan, butter,
Fantastic.
garlic, and just brown them or till they're warm inside.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to the finished product here because this is something pretty cool. Well, let's get the rest of these rolled out, and then we're going to move to our potato section. See you in just a minute. We're ready to move to our next step. We got our pierogi dough rolled out, and Cheryl cut them into little discs there. We got our potatoes that she was cooking on the stove, got them hot and just right. And I got to mention real quick, I worked for 4 years with Pretty Miss Sheila on the General Jackson Showboat, and I worked for 10 years, or actually close to 12 years, 12 years with Pretty Cheryl Lynn. So with that said, we don't need this rolling pin up here no more. We'll put this back here. I feel a lot safer now because I've worked with both these girls for a long time. So we
Still have a spoon over there.
okay.
Got this.
All right, tell us what we're going to do now, Cheryl.
Okay, we're going to add some cheddar cheese to the hot potatoes so it can melt.
All right, Sheila, we got cheddar cheese for her, don't we? All right.
All right, add this in.
Now you can just buy it shredded in the bag, or you can buy a block of cheddar cheese and shred it. And that's what Cheryl wanted me to do, but I got lazy and just bought a bag of it. But is that enough cheddar cheese too?
I think
It looks pretty good.
A little cream cheese we're going to add.
Oh yeah, we're going to add some cream cheese now to it. Now that's a half a brick of cream cheese, 4 ounces. And we softened that a little bit in the microwave for about, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds to kind of soften it up a little bit.
We can actually add everything else. We've got some onions and garlic.
Yes.
Butter. We're going to add these to the potatoes
Okay.
for a little more flavor.
Right. Now what she did is she went on the stove here and she put some onions, sweet onions, chopped up, and some butter and some garlic that she cut up and sauteed it up to get that soft ahead of time. And now we're going to blend this up in the blend with our little hand mixer, I think. And then we salt and pepper first to taste.
I'm going to put a little pepper in right
I notice you keep reaching for that little hand grinder one instead of my pepper shaker.
I love the real ground peppers.
That's what I thought. You were doing that in the kitchen as well. She wanted that little pepper grinder.
And just we're going to add a little salt.
I wish I had a little sea salt or a salt grinder for you as well, but there you go.
Good. Okay.
Now what she's making here are going inside of these little pierogi skins, so to speak. We're going to mash our potatoes up. Looking good. All right, she's got these taters mixed up pretty good here. Now you said you wanted to add something else. What do you got in that little dish over there?
Yeah, I was thinking a little sweet basil would be great in here for a little
Okay.
extra flavor.
Outstanding. All right. Now, one thing, because I actually peeled the potatoes ahead of time, and I'm going to take credit for that. Before she got here, I did the potato peeling in the kitchen, and I just did about 6 potatoes, medium-sized potatoes, and actually we're going to end up with probably a little left over, which is a great side dish. I mean, you could actually put it in a little baking dish and put some stuff on top and bake it in the oven. You could do all kinds of things with it, but this is mostly our ingredients for our pierogies. Potato stuffed dough boiled. What a great Polish idea. I think that's wonderful.
You probably could bake that in the oven with Ritz crackers and butter.
Oh, don't start with me. There's that Alabama girl over there to your right. She always wants to put Ritz crackers and with butter. We got it in a couple of our casserole recipes. You want me to lick the beaters or no?
Sure.
I'm just kidding. Shake it off there.
Yeah.
All right. Now we got our potatoes all mixed up, so we're done with that, right?
We are done with it.
Now we're going to load these up. So let's get everything in place. Now it's assembly time. I've been looking forward to this. We got our little pierogi dough and we got our potatoes, and it's up to you, Cheryl.
Okay. You want to help me with this?
No.
No?
Okay, I will. All right, let me get Sheila to help you here.
Okay.
Sheila, your turn. You got to help out. All right, we got us a little assembly line going now. I'm doing the potato scooping, and Sheila's peeling out the dough, and Cheryl's doing the pierogi pinching, and Man, oh man.
Because up here, so
I know, let's work right in front of her, so there we go. I think we're doing good. Are we getting just about the right amount in there?
That's perfect, yep.
Okay, cool. And it's key, again, that we're working right in
I
front
didn't
of
want to
you.
use my fingers on the reason why it took so long to find.
Well, my fingers are nice and clean. I scrubbed up before I came in here. I know because I peeled the potatoes, remember? Now we got water on the stove coming to a boil, and we're getting ready to drop these into the boiling water to cook them. And how long do you cook a pierogi?
About probably 5 to 8 minutes. It depends on how thick the dough is.
Okay.
But when they float to the top is a sign that they're,
Oh, really?
yes.
That's kind of like cooking fish. When you cook fish, when it comes to the surface, it's done as well, you know. I can tell you right now, next time, you're not going to make me peel this many potatoes because we got quite a bit of stuff left over.
Have you ever tried his hush puppies?
No.
Homemade hush puppies?
Oh, they're good.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I got the recipe from a guy at church, and I didn't think he was going to mail it to me. He said he would, and he did, and wow, they were great. You were saying?
Did you go to the fair?
Mm-mm.
We went through, they had a old mill where they grind for grits and cornmeal, cornmeal, built back in 1900, but actually operating the mill with the belt and the water wheel and all that.
Wow, stone ground, huh?
Yeah, it was so good. They were frying some of the pieces of cornbread they had there for samples. And I should have bought a bag of it, but I didn't.
No.
It was good. It was really good.
Well, you're doing good on the pierogies. They look just like the ones out of Canada. You must be from up north.
Yeah, close to
And like Cheryl said a little earlier, make sure you get them sealed all the way. Push that dough, pinch it down good, because you don't want the potato boiling out through the side of the pierogi. We got one to go, and I think we're going to move our hot boiling water front and center, and we're going to plunk them in there, and we're going to see what we got. Be right back in just a second. Well, we're up to this point right here. We've got some extra potatoes here, which I tasted, and they're delicious, Cheryl. Got our pierogies in here. We got some boiling water. We got some stuff. We got a special sauce over here we'll tell you about in a little bit that she made in the kitchen. But before we go any further, why this is coming to a complete boil, we got something for you. We want to present you with a bottle of Shotgun Red's Touch of Sweet Wine.
Oh, nice.
For coming over here and cooking, and that way you can take that home with a couple of these pierogies. I say a couple because the rest of them are staying here.
I haven't tasted it yet.
I know. They're great. So anyway, now that we've presented her with her little bottle of wine, we're going to get back to cooking, so let's get a close-up shot here, Sheila. Well, it's time to do the do and make the pierogies, as they say in Wisconsin. Cheryl, Lynn, it's up to you. Tell us what we're doing here.
Okay, we're just going to take our pierogies and slide them into the hot water and let them boil for about 5 to 8 minutes.
Okay,
until they
sounds
float
good.
To the top.
All right. Now she's using her fingers here, but be careful. And the reason she does that, she don't want to mash them, so she's kind of gently picking them up and laying them in there. And we're only going to do about, what, 3 or 4 at a time?
Right, you don't want to put too many in there so they have room to move around and
Can they stick together when they're cooking or no?
if you get too many in there, possibly, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're not going to do.
Well, let me give you a little wooden spoon in case you need to kind of push them apart here.
Yeah, we'll do maybe one more.
Maybe one more?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that'll be good.
All right. Perfect.
Actually, maybe we can get one more.
Oh, gee whiz.
Oh, that was long.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
Oh, man, one more.
That's actually an inside joke right there. And what we got that from is we would go to the show, and Cheryl's just very meticulous. Her guitar had to be in perfect 440 tune, strings, new strings, everything just right. And then she would sound check with the sound engineer. I'm ratting on you here just a little
I know
bit.
you are.
And everybody would get it done. And what she would, I need a little bit more treble, need a little more bass. Can you pull the mids back out of it a little bit? And she'd work, and the guy would say to her through the monitor, he said, "How's that?" And she'd say, "It's getting there." That means it's not ready yet. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, that's why I had to say that's getting there when she put that in there, because that was a running joke in our band. But she always sounded fantastic, and so we just plunked these in here. We're going to put the timer on this, and then how do you actually know when they are done? You say 5 minutes to 7 minutes or something like that. Oh, you said they float to the top.
They do kind of float to the top, and I would take probably a fork and just kind of slice through it if it feels tender.
Okay.
That's
That's what we're looking for?
You can kind of look at the dough as well to see the color of it, I think, and you can tell when it's done.
You can imagine me up in Canada. I come over there and they got this steam table with water and butter mixed in it, and they got those guys sitting in there simmering, and man, I thought, what in the world are these little half-moon shaped pinched pockets of heaven? Well, I had some on the first day, and believe you me, it's about all I ate out of the buffet for the next week was pierogies, and then I got back down to the States and I couldn't find them anywhere, let alone in Minnesota or Wisconsin. Of course, I guess I wasn't hanging around too many Brzezinskis at that time, and then I got down here in Tennessee, and a lot of people never even heard of pierogies. But these are Polish pierogies, and we'll be back after they cook for about 8 minutes. See you then. All right, these things been cooking for about 5 minutes now, and you notice they all floated to the top just like you said. And when you turn them, they seem like they're kind of firm, like they firmed up nice. And you don't really want to cook them over 10 minutes because then they get too hard or whatever. But how are you going to sample one of these? You're just going to stab him and put him on
I'm just going to try and poke the fork in it just to see if it feels tender.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think they're done.
We're ready for a pierogi?
Yeah,
All right, let's plunk those in some bowls, and then we'll throw in some more here. I just noticed Sheila got her bowl going right away. Me too. Yes, that's exactly the consistency. It's almost like my grandma's noodles. For noodles, the edges of them kind of quiver like that. Almost reminds me of that. Grandma used to make noodles. My mom made them too. But all right, now we've got something else that Cheryl has made.
Should I take this?
Yeah, you can dump. You can dump them in a. Let me get another little glass bowl here. We can put these in. Here you go.
Just so we don't overcook it.
Right. You can take them out and plunk some other ones in. Now, notice the size of these rascals, she said, are just about perfect, but her ma used to make bigger ones. And I'll tell you, we made our little custom thing out of one of those, funnels that you use for a quart jar. But I'll bet you if you took a 5-pound coffee can and cut both ends out of it, wouldn't that be a perfect size? That'd be a nice big pierogi, wouldn't it?
Yes, more than a meal and a half.
I'm telling you. All right, we ready to throw the rest of these in here?
Yep.
Time for batch number 2. Watch your fingers there, Cheryl.
Oh yeah.
That girl needs to play guitar. Now that is a hard thing to find, believe it or not, in Nashville. A lot of girls sing, a lot of girls songwrite, but to find musicians that actually play guitar and sing, and I don't mean to pick on the pretty girls in Nashville, but girl singers usually don't play an instrument. We have a great one up at a theater that we work with all the time, Brenda Best. She plays guitar and sings and songwrites. And I just think that's a real neat talent when you see a gal that gets up and sings and she's got a guitar strapped on her and she's playing, and I just always liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, while these are cooking here, tell us a little bit about this sauce right here, what we got.
Okay, this is, we made a roux with the butter, garlic, and onion. As we put some of that in with the potatoes. When we mix those.
Okay. Now, let me explain. A roux is 50% flour, 50% butter, or any other grease. It can be bacon grease, it can be oil, it can be canola oil or butter. In this case, you used the butter and a little bit of garlic and then equaled it with flour and stirred it for a long time. Then we poured whole milk in there.
Right.
I say we like I did it. You did it. And we're going to put a little bit of this on top of here then.
Okay, I'm going to grab the spoon.
We're going to put a little bit on top of our pierogies here.
Oh, it's thickened up a little bit. So.
That looks so good. Thank you very much.
Is that good?
You bet.
I'm glad you got the right fork.
We're getting ready to sample these in just a little bit here.
Me to do this?
Now you can also put a little dollop of sour cream on top. Do you girls want any sour cream on yours?
I might try it.
All right.
Yeah, I have not tried the sour cream.
All right, I'll just put a little teeny dollop on there when you're ready.
Okay. All
A
right.
little bit for you, and Sheila, a little bit for you. Now wait.
And we have
She also asked for this here. Here's your chives, and here's your parsley flakes.
parsley. Yeah.
Just to class this up and make it look good,
Make it look pretty.
we're going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley flakes on there. That looks great. Because pierogies are naturally white and the sauce we're making is a white sauce, you want to give it a little color.
Right, and do you like chives? Or
Mm-hmm, I do.
you like, okay. All right, I'll do chives on yours.
All right, fantastic.
Okay. Oops.
We're looking good here.
Oh.
And look what we have here, a big bowl of pierogies, and we each got one. Mine's already missing a chunk because I couldn't stand it. And do these look absolutely delicious or what? And there you have it. Polish pierogies. It's time to give them a taste. Let's check this out.
Yeah, toast this.
You'll notice that when you watch this in the replay on YouTube, that right when I was smacking, I turned the volume down so you couldn't hear me smack because it's so delicious. Wowee. Cheryl, thank you very much for bringing your little Przinski self over here from Crivitz, Wisconsin and showing us how to make pierogies. And there's a million tips. You can make the bread dough a little thinner so they don't take as long to cook. You can make them bigger so you don't have to eat as many, and you can have it all in one big main meal. You can put bacon in there. We were talking about all kinds of stuff off camera, weren't we? Well, you have made them before. What did you think when you tasted them?
Good. Good.
Well, let's hold them up for a toast here. Are these the best pierogies made anywhere in the world? If they ain't, they ought to be. We'll see you next time right here on Cooking with Shotgun Red. And don't forget, we'll put a little thing down here you can click on to subscribe and maybe another recipe over there and stuff. But don't worry about all that. We'll see you next time. Thanks, girls.
Thank you.
Great job.